live, so go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Stephanie, could you go ahead and call roll for us, please?
I can go do that real quick. Ms. Burton?
Present.
Mr. Chapelier?
Here.
Mr. Herskowitz?
Here.
Mr. Gupta?
Here.
Others?
Present.
Mr. Brubaker?
Here.
Mr. Paul?
Here.
Mr. Smithers?
Here.
Mr. Lachey? We have a quorum.
Great. All right. Moving on then to the minutes. Do we have any comments on the minutes from last month or a motion to approve?
This is Ralph Smithers. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ralph. Do we have a second?
I will second. This is Dave Paul.
Thanks, Dave. Any comments on the minutes? All right, go ahead and sound us off again, Mark.
Sure. Ms. Burton?
Yes.
Mr. Chapelier?
Yes.
Mr. Herskowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Gupta?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Brubaker?
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
And Mr. Smithers?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. All right. Next up is old business. Is there anything under old business that's not listed?
No, ma'am.
Nope. All right, moving on to new business. One question. You've got public comments listed last in the parentheses, and I thought that we were supposed to do staff report, applicant presentation, ask for public comments, and then do the comments. Is that, am I misremembering it from last month?
Sorry, I couldn't. Could you repeat that, please? I'm sorry.
I just wanted to ask a quick process question. Since public comments are listed last on the agenda here, but I thought we asked for those before panel comments.
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay.
That just looks like a typo from the agenda, and we have not received any requests for public comments to date at any rate. So just we'll correct that next time. Thank you.
That answered my second question then too. So perfect. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll move on to the first application then. Our first application is 6465 North Hamilton Road, applicant Z19-007. If staff would like to give us a presentation on this application.
Yes. Just a moment. All right. So this first application is case Z19-007. It's a request an action to rezone a site in Columbus at 6465 North Hamilton Road. The site is approximately one parcel and it's 1.3 acres. The current zoning is a commercial plan development district, but with a change in the development standards, a rezone is necessary. The northern parcel of the development that you see at the southwest corner of Warner and Hamilton is part of the development, but is a separate application that is not being heard by this panel. That was in the supplemental materials in the staff report. Staff did offer comments in that application in case BZA 19145. Site is to include a car wash and 14 parking spaces, as you see here on the site plan. Here's the landscaping plan for the site. Landscaping shown here includes building screening and street trees along North Hamilton Road. Here are elevations for the site. Building materials include cultured stone, ephes, and metal panel siding. And while not in the original checklist and staff report, staff confirmed that the windows on the structure are transparent. And staff notes the building design to be generally appropriate. There's just a other view of the building elevations in the exterior. Regarding staff comments, the use was generally appropriate, although the Rocky Fork Blacklick Accord plan recommended multifamily at this location. Staff recognized that given the existing commercial zoning and the emerging mixed-use development pattern at this intersection, that this was an appropriate proposal for the site. Staff notes that it generally meets the design guidelines regarding lighting, building design, and parking. Staff notes that the lot coverage will not exceed 61%. And staff recommends approval with the condition of additional landscaping be included to the west to screen the parking lot, and to the south to screen the circulation lane from the adjacent property. And let's see here. And that is all from staff. I have the packets pulled up and any other materials for reference from either the applicants' additional comments or for anything that we need to call up during the discussion. Thank you.
It does look like I have everyone muted right now. We are getting a little bit of feedback, so just make sure that you just unmute yourself before you start speaking.
Thank you, Steve. Is there anyone from the applicant that would like to present?
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yeah, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, it's Chris Reinhardt, Reinhardt Legal Services, PO Box 16308, Columbus, Ohio. Here appearing on behalf as counsel for TH Midwest, which is better known as Turkey Hill. I don't know if you can pull up the overall site. I don't know if you had the entire site plan, but if you just had that site map.
Yeah, just a moment.
Kind of give some reference to what's going on here.
Just a moment. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Oh, you got the whole site plan. So the entire development, Turkey Hill development, if you're all familiar with Turkey Hill and their convenience stores, historically Turkey Hill was owned and operated by Kroger, but in the past couple of years, you may know that Kroger sold off its Turkey Hill fuel division, convenience store division, to a group out of Great Britain called EG Group. EG Group is one of the larger convenience store operators in the world, although they do not have a presence in the United States prior to its acquisition. So what they're attempting to do is to bring some of their concepts to the United States. One of those concepts is incorporating some restaurant fast food type oriented uses in combination with a convenience store. And so what you have here on the corners is a combination of those two. The convenience store, which includes a brand of IHOP called Flipped, will be incorporated into the northern parcel, with the fuel located on that parcel, and then the car wash is located on the southern parcel. And originally we had wanted to do, because I'm sure somebody's probably curious as to why we're only doing one zoning. We were originally going to do a CPD for both parcels to incorporate both of them in the same project. However, CVS owns the northern parcel. We had some issues in getting an agreement to do a rezoning with them. So we've had to proceed on that parcel through a variance process to address a couple of the things that did not conform to the existing zoning that's on that site. That site actually has zoning that is approved for this particular use. So aside from just combining both parcels and having them as one project, we had to kind of break it up and do a rezoning on the south parcel and then proceed through the BZA on the northern parcel. So that's a little background on why we're doing that. So specifically with respect to the southern parcel does include the car wash. A little caveat to, I know Mark, you had mentioned that the windows were see-through. The windows are transparent. Had a little additional information from that as of yesterday. The windows that face the interior of the lot are actually transparent. The ones on the other side that face Hamilton Road are actually faux windows. So they're not actually transparent. And I think part of that was just so they didn't create a lot of distraction for motorists and people going down Hamilton Avenue, seeing cars going through the car wash. So at this point, those are faux windows on the eastern side. All of the signage and all of that will go through the Graphics Commission for any issues and compliance. I think we're basically doing the only additional changes we're making for purposes of the zoning is just to add the car wash use so that it conforms with the overall development. You see the materials and the elevations. I know one of the issues, which might be somewhat more appealing to the board and the residents. We recently did another one of these projects. It's still going through the approval process, but one of the requests was to try to incorporate a pitched roof into the design. And I recognized on the chart that that was one of your design concerns. We can incorporate a pitched design. I don't know, Mark, if I have a design from that project that I could email to you. I don't know if you can show it, but I could email it to you and show it to you. But we can incorporate a pitched roof design. We don't have a specific one for the building as of yet, simply because we just discussed this in the past week or so. But that is something we could certainly incorporate as part of the design elements. And beyond that, I don't know if there's anything else that I can add at this point other than to address any specific questions. So I'll just open it up to the panel if anyone has any questions.
Great. Thank you. It sounds like there's no one from the public to ask questions or provide comments. So who from the panel would like to ask some questions or comments? And I can't really see everybody, so you'll just have to kind of speak up.
This is Jay, Kim.
Thanks,
Hi.
Jay.
I was wondering if the pork chop there, the right in, right out, what's the material, surface material going to be on the pork chop?
You know, I don't know off the top of my head. That would be subject to probably approval by the city engineer's office. My guess is it's going to be concrete.
I have one of those up on Walnut Street where I live, and it's grass. So.
Oh, it's not going to be grass. I'll tell you that. It will be some form of hard material. I just don't know what it'll be. Most likely it'll be concrete.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Jay. Who else would like to ask questions?
This is Ralph Smithers. I have two questions. One is a question of clarification. The first question for clarification, I'm assuming this is an automated car wash where your car just goes through, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the question that I had, and it may be process as well, is that the grading process doesn't seem to have a noise component to it. And I'm just curious if there, what could people that are nearby expect in the way of noise, people that might be, vacuuming their cars with music, that sort of thing. I just want to understand, what that looks like.
Well, during the construction process, I think that's, I think typically that's done during the day. So I don't think there's going to be much, noise generation.
Yeah, I'm referring
in
to
the
when
evenings.
it's in operation.
Yeah, in operation, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I don't know that this is a 24-hour operation. We can certainly confirm that. But most of that activity is going to be confined to that interior spot, and I'm not sure what the closest residence is. So I can't tell you for sure what the without going out and doing a sound test, kind of what the offsite carryover of sound is going to be. But I don't know. Mark, do you know off the top of your head what is directly east of there? I can't remember off the top of my head.
There are a couple condos
Trying to remember how close the closest residential.
I'll pull it up on the.
Try to get a distance. But that's certainly something I can have them look at. I mean, as part of going through to the final approval.
Thank you.
And I will admit that's the first time I've ever been asked that question. So in terms of offsite sound.
That's why I'm on the panel.
Hey, there you go.
All right, who else has questions? I think I saw Dave was waving at some point.
Just a real quick question. You mentioned the faux windows on the southeast elevation.
Yes.
Those are still glass. Are they still reflective surfaces to look like windows?
I don't know for sure. My assumption is that they're not going to be. It's just a faux material to make it look like a window.
Just an architectural feature rather than anything.
Yeah, and I think it's just to complement the other side because they got windows on the other side. So I think that's why they've done it and tried to break up that wall so you're not just looking at a complete blank wall as you're going by. But we can certainly confirm that too, and certainly I don't have a problem with recommending non-reflective materials and things like that.
Thank you.
Just to follow up from the previous point, this is the site here on the map, and you see it's vacant to the south and to the east. There's a couple condos to the southeast, and then a retail plaza to the west.
Yeah,
so,
and as I recall, that parcel to the south of the existing site, all of this entire site, so the two parcels we're talking about, and then the parcel directly to the south, and then the existing commercial development were all part of one approved development, I believe, from back in the early 2000s. I can't recall.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and so I think the one across the street is also a commercial. I think it's also a commercial plan. So the closest residents look like they're going to be that directly to the southeast. So it's going to be some sound barrier because of the building. So that'll muffle a little bit of that, but I can also have them take a look and just make sure that they can try to minimize any offsite sound that comes from it.
Great. Kyle, I think I see your hand up there.
Yeah, sorry. Chris, hey, this is Kyle Sellers.
Yeah.
Two questions for you real quick. You mentioned the parcel to the north is going through a separate review process, right?
Yes.
So is the car wash able to operate independently if, and I don't want to jinx anything, but worst case,
Yeah.
So northern parcel, you guys don't reach an agreement. Is this a standalone car
if
wash
we don't get them,
each other?
yeah, if we don't get them both, then we're not going to develop the site. It's all conceived as one project.
Okay, cool. That's what I figured. I wasn't sure if you guys had to pull the pin on the other one, what that would do to this car wash.
Yeah, so what I've been trying to do is try to present and give you guys both sets of folks who are reviewing all of the materials for both parcels, because it's kind of odd to be reviewing just a car wash without seeing what it's attached to. So
Sure.
One of the other things, just so for folks that are interested in that area, one of the reasons it's taken a little time to develop this is, Mark, if you can scroll that site plan down just a little bit, so you show the northern part of, yeah, keep going just a little bit. Yep. So we took an extensive period of time that we had to deal with traffic, because if you can see where the entrance is off of Warner Road, there's actually an existing drive right that's there right now. So that actually is kind of right. It sits, I believe, right where the parcel line is. And so the existing drive is half on the northern parcel and half on the existing development that's already there. And so the city had asked us to actually move that entrance so that it lines up with the development across Warner Road, so that there wouldn't be any conflict with traffic, hopefully and potentially. And so it took us some time to figure out how to, from an engineering perspective and from an access period perspective, to get that done. So that being said, going back to your original question, if we don't get both parcels, we ain't gonna do the project. So
sure, that makes sense. So the second question, kind of unrelated, was I didn't, at least in my looking through this, I didn't see any information on the type of car wash system that's going to be housed in that. And obviously these generate a considerable amount of water and soap and everything else. Is it a like a reclamation type system? Is there holding tanks? Like, how does it?
You just went beyond my expertise. I do not know.
All right. I'm just thinking about from groundwater and any sort of contaminated water getting out into the outside the footprint, right outside the system.
I can make a note and I can provide that to you after today, if you wish.
Yeah, I'd just be interested to see kind of what the system looks like. Obviously, these guys, I'm sure it's a good system, right? I just like to know a little bit more about it, what the potential pitfalls may be with it.
Okay, I will get that information.
Thank you, Kim. That's it.
All right, thanks, Kyle. Who else that is not in my view would like?
I would like to speak, Mike Chapelier.
Oh, there you are, Mike. Okay, go for it.
Yep. Okay, one of the questions I had, because this car wash / gas station combination, because they both go together, sits above the flood area for Rocky Fork Creek. My concerns are additional gas possible, or the soap and stuff like that going in, and that was one of the questions I was wondering. And also, is there not any means of exiting this property except from the north onto Warner Road? And along with that, what modifications, if any, are going to be done to Hamilton Road to handle additional traffic? And are they taking into consideration setbacks if they widen the road?
As to the drainage, typically Turkey Hill, and I believe they still continue to do this with EG, they have collectors that try to collect the oil particulates or things that come off of the runoff as it goes into the system. So I can certainly confirm that and make sure that that is still something that they do. Pretty sure that they do. And that all is going to be, subject to whatever the standard requirements are for engineering and things like that as they go through and get their approvals. With respect to access, again, if you look at that northern access, that is a joint access to the existing shopping center. So that one, we pretty much had to live with that access point, although the city wanted us to require it because it does affect the existing development. So based upon the traffic studies and things that were done associated with this particular development, this was the design that the city requested that we do, and we're going to develop that. I don't know that there were any additional, other than turn lanes and things like that, I don't know that there were any additional requirements for Warner Road. And then the access point on Hamilton Road, That's what the city required of us as a result of the traffic study. So you've got the access point from the north off of Warner. You've got the access point. It's a right in, right out only, so it's not a full access. So, and I think is there a light to the south of that?
No,
I can't
that one's not a right out. It looks like it's a
yeah.
left in.
That arrow's wrong. It's a right in, right out only to the south.
Oh, that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, I would say that's a huge difference. I was where Mike was at with it. I'm like, man, left-hand turn across Hamilton's.
That's a typo. It's a right out, right in, right out only. If that's
Must have been a computer
it is
error.
it is not a dual access in. Let's put it that way. It's only access coming south. So when you're coming south, you're going to come in right there, and then when you can exit the property, continue going south. That is not an access point.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. So sorry about that.
People
I will tell them to correct that site plan.
Okay. People from the shopping center then could exit out that way also.
Theoretically, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that they don't have their only access point, which I think right now is on Warner Road.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike. Who else have we not heard from that would like to ask questions? I'll jump in with mine while you guys think of some more. Back to Ralph's point on the noise, I know that these can be a little noisy, so it might be a nuisance for those nearby residences. So it might just be an hours of operation thing that you have to look into based on whatever city codes are for that. Because I assume those are probably outdoor vacuums at those parking spots. So that could get a little noisy at night.
Sure.
Yeah, hours of operation probably is going to be your best bet there. And then like your multiple access points, I think that's excellent. I was trying to figure out the right in, left in. That was a
yes, sorry about that.
Invention I had not seen before. So thank you for making sure that we're paying attention.
Yeah.
That was good. I think just my two questions are, I think in the staff report, they wanted you to commit to additional screening. Is that something that you're open to?
Yeah, I assume just a clarification on that. So on the south, I think I understand where you're talking about, but are you talking about along this access road? Is that what you're referring to, Mark?
Yeah, primarily along the south property line where the circulation lane is entering to the car wash tunnel. Yeah, and then also along the west, just to screen this parking, because there's I know there's headlight screening or some shrubs along the car wash building here, not shown on this site plan, but in the packet it's there. But additional to do headlight screening and screening from the parking lot from the access drive on the west.
Yeah, and that's where I didn't know if there was so just basically right there where those parking spots are and along that, or were you more talking about further to the west along that access drive itself, if there's room to put it in?
From the parking lot, from the parking spaces here. Yeah.
Okay. They normally don't have any concern about additional landscaping, things like that. They certainly are willing to add it in where they can add it.
Good. Then my second question, I noticed that you had a partial approval under 4.4.4 about needing a pedestrian connection to Hamilton Road, that you were doing the sidewalks well, but that you still needed to show a pedestrian connection somewhere to Hamilton. Is that correct, Mark? Did I read that, or has that been addressed?
Yeah, that was from what we saw on the site plan, that the sidewalk is being included along Hamilton, but there was no pedestrian access point from Hamilton.
And I don't know that they would necessarily be opposed to doing that. I just don't know where they could without interfering with traffic, because they've got in order to accommodate circulation, they've got vehicular movement pretty much throughout the perimeter of the site. So I guess my only question and concern then would be, I don't know that they would be opposed to putting that connectivity. if you prefer it, it's just kind of where do you put it?
Yeah, I think obviously you're designers and you know better the function of the property. So it's more of where would people potentially be wanting to walk onto the property? Is there a location? And to work, backwards from that versus us just arbitrarily saying, well, you need to put one near our right and left
We're
access.
certainly willing to look at it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. I mean, that's
Right.
don't
Yeah,
have a problem with doing it if
Mhm.
we can put it in.
Yeah, because I can see, people wanting to maybe access your property or the gas station at some point to go into the convenience store.
Right.
So it'd be nice to have maybe on the north side of that, right in, right out, a connection
Yeah.
there.
And that's kind of where I was thinking it might be on the other parcel where I
Mhm,
could probably see some easier connectivity.
mhm,
And I certainly don't have a problem with them taking a look at it and
mhm.
incorporating it because I know they have some connectivity onto Warner Road. If you pull that site plan down a little bit, Mark, you can see where that is. So I don't think they have any concern about potentially putting that connectivity in. It's just a question of whether it's on this parcel or on the convenience store parcel. But certainly happy to look at it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that the north of the right in, right out would be the safest
Okay.
location based on the circulation patterns. But obviously, you're designers and you know the function better, as I said.
Right.
I think those were the two things that I noticed in the staff report I wanted to ask about, plus obviously the noise that Ralph already asked about. So otherwise, I think this looks fine. Anybody else think of any other questions while I was talking? I see Dave's hand again. Go for it, Dave.
Real quick, and maybe on a somewhat related note, I'm thinking about potentially employees in the car wash and so forth. Are they expected, if you're driving a vehicle to the site, to park in one of those 8 spaces adjacent to the car wash? Or do you know?
I don't know, but my guess would be is that would be the ones that they're going to occupy.
Okay. And is this site also expected, and mainly for the same reason, not so much patrons, but potentially employees, to have handicap parking and or bicycle parking?
I think the northern parcel has incorporated at least the handicap parking.
I see the handicap spaces on the northern parcel. And do they fulfill the requirement then for this parcel?
Yeah, we have not gotten any feedback from the city regarding any specific handicap parking. And part of what you should know is that once assuming both of these are approved, the parcels are going to be combined. So
Okay.
Even though they'll have slightly different zoning that may apply to each, at least the thought process going forward is that they'll treat it as one parcel once we combine them. So I think when traffic was looking at it, they were evaluating it based upon that understanding. So that's why you see the handicap parking up there. I think the bike racks are there. I can confirm that too, but I think that's where they are as well. I don't know if they've shown them on the site plan, but I think they've incorporated, but certainly I can make sure of that. And since I will see you, Dave, at the BZA, I can certainly confirm that for you once I find that out. So, but I'm pretty sure they've incorporated bike parking with every one of these developments. So.
Very fine. And I guess also, just while I've got your attention, are those dumpster enclosures that I see just north of the vacuum spaces, or where?
I believe so. Yes. That
Okay.
would be the dumpster enclosures that would serve both parcels.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks, Dave. Anybody else?
Yeah, I got one more comment to make. And looking at that drawing really close, you see 8 vacuum spaces, 14 by 20, right up next to the car wash itself. And the public space, which are a larger space, because you have to get work around your car, same time someone next to you is. And then the regular parking spaces that would indicate a handicap space would be parked on the west side of the space there. Which would be a standard size parking space that they would, if they were to put in a handicap space, it would probably be in that area as opposed to where the vacuum space
Yeah,
is.
that and like I said, I think what when they were having discussions with the city about the layout and all that kind of stuff, I think the consensus was to place the handicap parking that would be required for the entire site on the convenience store, because they figured that would probably be where they would get used the most.
Right.
And so, you know, like I said, I think from a count perspective and things like that, I think that's, you know, they've laid it out as if it was one site, even though we're kind of doing it in two separate
Okay.
things. So,
Not many people walk through a car wash.
right. So,
Except maybe an employee.
right. So it encourages them to get exercise. So,
All right. Any further comments or questions? Okay, do we feel comfortable making a motion on this application?
I will go ahead and make a motion for approval. This is Dave Call.
Thank you, Dave.
Ralph Smithers, second.
Thank you, Ralph. Any further comments related to the motion?
Sorry, go ahead.
Did we want to put any wording in the motion about the other things that he was going to check on? And he said they probably wouldn't have any problem with, but do we want to add that to the motion or just let it go as a straight motion?
I'm willing to amend the motion if folks want to include something about hours of operation. I think that's the main sticking point that most folks identified. We can discuss that, I guess.
Mark, what is your recommendation? Would you like us to put these stipulations in our motion or approve as is and just say that the applicant will work with staff type of thing?
I was just asking for clarification, if, you know, you were wanting to present the application as presented, or if there were any other conditions that you were adding related to your discussion. So that's your call as a panel.
We could certainly agree to the conditions with respect to landscaping. And again, like I said, I'm certainly happy to provide the additional information that you guys have asked for. So.
I'm okay with it if staff's willing to check to see what, you know, they come back with.
Okay. So I'll just read these back and then tell me if I'm right or wrong. So we'll approve with the staff condition of landscaping to the south and to the west. The applicant will also work with staff to confirm matters of hours of operation. And was there, I think, Mike, you had mentioned something regarding runoff and chemicals near Rocky Fork Creek. Was that also something?
Typically confirming oil separation, I think, is
okay.
Typically how they refer to it.
Okay. If I could ask staff, what is the local noise ordinance that's effective here in terms of what time of day does it become effective?
I could not say for sure off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to clarify with the hours of operation, we're talking about the car wash, right?
I think that's our concern.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, this is Jackie Yeoman. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm just chiming in to say I wasn't expecting to talk, but Todd is messaging everyone that he's still here. So I don't know if he's trying to talk and he can't. But
no, I'm not. I was just I was responding back to Stephanie.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. So that's all.
Sure.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie.
And Mark, I know there was the issue about getting the information on the type of car wash, just so from an standpoint.
Yeah, I think my question is Mike probably stated it better with the runoff and whether it's oil or so like that. So I think that covers it. Just for my own nerd brain, I wanted to know more about the car wash.
I'll still find out because I'm sure I'm going to get asked that question again at some point.
All right. Thank you.
So it sounds like perhaps I should amend my motion to be conditioned on those several things that Mark just iterated. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah, so I'll read them back one more time for you, for everybody. Approve with the condition of landscaping being added to the west to screen the parking lot and to the south to screen the circulation lane from the property line. On the condition that the applicant work with staff to provide more information on the hours of operation with regard to noise of the car wash. The applicant work with staff regarding the oil separation and its effect on runoff, and confirm the type of car wash. Do all those sound correct to everybody?
And I got one more for you, Mark.
Okay.
Connectivity on sidewalk to Hamilton.
Okay.
See, didn't forget.
Yep.
Good.
All right.
So I will affirm that is my motion then, to approve with the conditions that Mark just restated.
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. Ralph, are you willing to continue with your second?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, any further comments? No. All right, let's go ahead and call roll them.
Yep. Just say yes or no. Voting to approve with the conditions, say yes or no. Ms. Burton?
Yes.
Mr. Chapelier? Mr. Chapelier?
You're muted, Mike.
I pressed the wrong button. Yes.
Mr. Herskowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Gupta?
Yes.
Mr. Sellers?
Yes.
Mr. Brubaker?
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
And Mr. Smithers?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Hey, Mark, this is Jackie. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to let you know that Todd's video is not on, and so his vote won't count unless you guys can get that on for him to vote again. I don't think it's needed, but just FYI.
And okay, then I will make a note of that. Thank you for pointing that out. Without Todd's, if Todd's vote doesn't count, I'm seeing the bandwidth condition on him, but in any event, this carries by a motion of 7-0.
Great.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Okay. Well, then, are we able to move on to the next application?
Yes, we can.
Okay, next
let me just.
application then is 7488 Lee Road, application number Z20-041. If staff would like to present on that.
Yeah, just a moment, please. So this is application Z041, as Kim mentioned, at 7488 Lee Road. Applicant is requesting conceptual review regarding a proposed rezoning at that site along the far northwest reach of the Accord planning area. The site is 2.7 acres. The site is zoned rural. It was annexed to the city of Columbus in 2018 and not rezoned. There's currently a single family house on the site. The applicant proposes rezoning the site to a suburban residential. This will accommodate a lot split, which you see with the black dotted line on the site plan shown here. And a new single family home will be built on the new lot. The Accord plan recommends rural residential at this site, and the proposal is consistent with the plan's land use recommendation. The applicant communicated to us that there was not a design or plan for the house yet, so the staff needed additional information in regards to preservation of the Lee Road corridor, architecture, landscaping, and site design. So the application is at this time being heard for conceptual review, and staff is not making a recommendation at this meeting. And that is all that we have. Thank you.
All right, great. And then do we have a representative from the applicant that would like to talk?
Hi, this is Denise. Can you hear me?
Can you turn your video on, please?
Yes, if I can figure out which way. Is it under my name? Oh, wait, I've got it right here. Okay.
Great. And if you could state your name and address for the record, that would be great.
My name's Denise Diani, 12718 Wheaton Avenue, Pickerington, Ohio, 43147.
Thank you.
Yes, I didn't submit a house plan. Diani Homes most likely will be the builder. We are waiting to list the lot for someone to buy it. We have many clients that need land. So we have many house plans, but I don't have the exact one. So I'm just trying to, this is the first time I've ever, did a process like this or helped a client with something like this. So it's new to me. So just any advice or anything that you guys can give me of what I need to do so that they can, parcel this off and be able to have someone else be their neighbor and build a house here. It doesn't need a septic system because the sewer and what is ran now at the road from the community across the street. That's about it.
Okay, thanks, Denise. All right, comments and questions from the panel.
This is Jay. I have one.
Hey, Jay.
So if it's going to go from a septic to gravity sewer, you probably need to abandon the existing on-site system.
Yes, exactly.
And the same with the well. I don't know if you're going to get city water, or if there's well water there. But same thing with that one.
Yes.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Thanks, Jay. Additional comments and questions?
I have a question. I understand that the overall site is 2.7 acres. And again, the intention is to split the lot into two. Do you know at this point how much to the new household and how much will remain with the existing home?
Yes, yeah, that dotted line right there. So you propose to put the house back, set back on that property. But they would, have the drive come down. I don't know exactly how much acreage that is, but I'm
Okay,
sure it's on
my
here.
question. Yeah, that was my question because I didn't see it in the application or in the staff report, so I was curious.
Okay.
All right, additional questions?
Yeah, I have one. Mike Chapelier. I'm not really understanding, where would you be looking at the home site on this new, very strangely shaped piece of property?
Yes, the home site would set back where the lot is wider. So like a little bit of yard in front of the tree lines, and the home would set back probably close to the widest part of that lot back there is where it would set. And it would have to be a 2-story, not a ranch, mostly, and then the drive would all come all the way back.
So the lot would basically be about 4 or 5 times longer than it is wide.
Yes, yeah.
I'm just curious, where would the driveway be? Would it be off Lee Road then?
Yes, off the Lee Road, and come all the way, down along that line in between the tree line and the line where the other property would set. It would come down and go back.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell from excuse me, the map that we were looking at here, or the drawing, as to what's around that particular piece of property, as to how it impacts the current neighborhood there, which is, I assume, relatively small residential. And I'm just trying to see, because it is a rather odd shaped lot.
Yes.
Mark, can you show us the aerial? Because you can see what the trees framing it in a little easier that way.
This is the immediate view.
Okay.
For some of our older eyes, if you could zoom in a bit.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do have another house sitting back there close to
Yes.
it, off of that side road.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad you can't take the entrance off the turn there and come into that place and split it that way instead of bringing a driveway all the way back from Lee Road.
I'm looking at another aerial view through Google, and it looks like that's rather heavily wooded, though, more than it looks like in this aerial photo that we're looking at. Between the existing house to the east and the new home site. Is that deceptive on the part of Google, or is that actually pretty heavy woods?
It's just winter.
Yeah.
Winter versus summer is all.
Yeah.
The site there with all the trees on it where the word says site, is that the current septic area where they planted trees on it?
Yeah, the septic area, can you hear me?
Yes.
The septic area is back behind their drive, like where their driveway is and the parking pad is. It's just right back in there where the trees, in front of the trees, kind of, the septic
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My two questions were related to offsets and where the driveway spacing. I think I'm not quite sure what the standards are on Lee Road and the zoning. If you're going to try to share the driveway, but you're going to have 3 driveways potentially within 50 feet of each other, so that might be a concern based on that. So you might need to look at where the driveway is going to go for spacing. And then also just the setbacks with the home being back there. Can you get a big enough home for it to be worth your money based on setbacks with the neighbors being very near on kind of both sides of this slightly awkwardly shaped lot? So I think those would be the 2 things you'd want to explore a bit.
Okay, sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Other comments and questions from the panel?
This is Ralph. I just wanted to clarify that either we or another body will get a chance to look at this again. This is a conceptual review, so I'm assuming that if we were to say, okay, you can split the parcel, that there would be an opportunity to look at a final plan and that would be evaluated and so forth, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
And based off what Ralph was asking, Mark, we're not looking to approve this, correct? We're just offering comments tonight.
Yeah, it's just conceptual review.
Okay.
With the checklist as it was, staff couldn't make a full recommendation, so we went in for this initial feedback, and yeah, we can go from there based on these initial comments.
Mm-hmm.
If I could ask the applicant, are you anticipating that you would put some additional screening then between the existing home site and the new home site along that property line?
Yes, the current owners are going to plant trees as soon as the septic system, is taken away, the current one. So they want to plant trees to literally, so that whoever lives beside them, they'll have complete separation. They plan on planting trees all the way alongside their house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a good idea. other comments and questions? Okay.
I don't know if we would need to make a motion, but I guess I'll just articulate my thoughts. Conceptually, which is what we're talking about, I'm certainly open to, the person that would be most affected is the person who's asking the lot to be split. So, that takes care of one of the bigger concerns I have. Obviously, there's some other folks around as well, but, conceptually, I am okay with what I'm seeing, except that just it feels like we need to see a little bit more. So I don't know if that's kind of what we were looking for out of this evaluation or not, but I just wanted to put that in to kind of, keep the discussion moving.
Thanks, Ralph. Okay. Mark, is there any other points you would like us to cover with this application?
No, I think if there was any other comments you wanted to make, that'd be fine. But we took notes on some of the things that you guys had questions on, some things that you might like to see, or some things that were talked about, especially regarding landscaping and the drive. And staff can, keep those handy, and we can keep working toward a final approval or final vote of this application.
Okay. And Denise, did we hopefully cover some of the things that you were hoping us to cover? Is there anything else that would be helpful for us to talk about with you while you're here with us tonight?
Thank you. Just one last thing. So if I can get, a proposed house plan, the landscaping, the drive, all that information to you guys by the next meeting next month, is that okay?
I'll defer to staff on that one.
Yeah. I mean, between Stephanie and I, we can keep working with you on that, and fill out the application or fill out the checklist and staff report more from what we have here today, and we can move toward request for action next time.
Mm-hmm. Great. And just one last thing, Denise, you might want to give the neighbors a heads up that they might have some much closer neighbors. If you do that proactively, that might help reduce any conflict if they have some concerns.
Kim, I do have one more question or comment.
Okay, Mike.
On this, okay, this is currently in the city of Columbus, but the properties behind this lot, are those city of Columbus now, or are those still Plain Township?
I believe those are city, but we can confirm real quick. Here, let me pull up the map real quick. Yeah, so these houses behind here are still in Plain Township, where this drive is. So the orange boundary is the city of Columbus corporate boundary. So this is all outside of that, and that's in Plain.
Okay. So those houses back there don't have any city water or sewer. They're all still on wells and septic systems.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but my guess would be yes, if they're still in the township.
Okay, and the property just east of those 6 houses or whatever it is there, is that part of the Seminole development?
I believe it is. Yes, that would be the Seminole development.
Okay, so
yes.
So that also will be Columbus.
Yes, that's already in the city. Just zooming out here a little bit. Yeah. So anything with the color in the parcels, this is all within the city and has City of Columbus zoning.
Okay. Yeah, I would think that they'd want to talk to the neighbors there a little bit to let them understand what's going on. Maybe they want to do city or stay Plain Township. I don't know, but Yeah, because they all have a larger piece of property sitting right there, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in with a smaller piece, and I'm sure if it's a very nice house, that always helps too. But that's kind of what my thoughts are. That being an awkward shape to even get the property there in the first place. It's up to the owner of the property, of course. But that's one of my concerns is just trying to sandwich it in just to say you sandwiched it in. But how does it affect the rest of the area? So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Any other comments? Okay, sounds good. All right, well then we'll close out this discussion, and I guess we're just going to move on to adjournment then. Mark, unless you have anything else for us?
Kim, this is Jay. May I ask Mark a quick question?
Nope.
Oh, never mind. Now, a couple years ago, we looked at a parcel northeast quad of Warner and Hamilton, right next to the creek. And
Yeah.
it's the construction entrance out there placed. But what's going on there?
At northeast corner of Warner and Hamilton?
Yeah.
I know that was heard by you guys a couple years ago. I don't know what the status is construction wise, but perhaps we could check into that more and I could get back to you.
Okay. Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Jay. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Well, one thing back to that last question, if I might.
Okay.
It was my understanding that property had been sold. I don't know what they're planning on doing with it, but I thought that property that Jay was just talking about had been sold. So if you would check on that, that'd be great.
Sure, can do.
Okay. All right. Now do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Thank you, Ralph.
I will second.
All right. Thank you. And Jay's waving, so he's thirding, I think. That's good. All right. Well, then I think we're good to go. Another successful meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good luck,
you.
Denise.
Bye.